Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk. Back again with you guys for another show, for another episode of our Let's Talk Arsenal series, and specifically our series called The Inside Track, in which we give you guys some insight into some of Arsenal's transfers and try to give you as much of the information as we can feasibly get hold of. I'm very happy to be today joined by Diego Montalvan. How are you doing, mate? Are you good? Are you well?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on.
No problem at all. Obviously, you're on the show today because we're interesting to talk about Aron Sanchez, who I think for probably 99.999% of Arsenal fans, they probably wouldn't have heard too much about, to be honest. Maybe I'm underselling it even that much, but there's some interesting stuff going on. But you join us from Peru. Do you want to give kind of the listeners a little bit of background into your job and what you're working on?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now I'm actually in the USA. Working for Telemundo Deportes and Telemundo in general. I'm a producer / sports reporter, and for Copa America, I've been the only sports reporter for Telemundo right now.
And of course, covering Peru, who are playing in the Copa America right now, it's been a little bit just a tiny bit controversial this tournament. But it's gone. I mean, mixed for Peru, but they got a good win against Colombia today.
Right. I mean, it wouldn't be Copa America. It wouldn't be Conmebol if it didn't have a little drama, if it didn't have a little spice to it, right?
I think it's an interesting, obviously, tournament and what's gone ahead, and the fact it's gone ahead in general is crazy. But it's another story, and I know that the Arsenal fans tuning in have very much come to learn more about Aron Sanchez. Now, before we get into him as specifically what he's like as a player, I'm interested as to kind of your latest kind of insight into the situation, because you confirmed rumours that there's been contact about a possible trial situation for Sanchez to go to Arsenal. Is there any extra information that we're aware of right now?
Right now, at the moment, no. I've been trying to get in contact with Aron and his people. No luck yet, but I mean, I've also been so busy with Copa America that it's kind of on the side. But yeah, I was able to actually, with the Aron Sanchez situation, I got a WhatsApp. Someone said, "Hey, look at what happened," and I said, "Whoa, let me check into this about Aron Sanchez Arsenal." So I directly went with one of my colleagues to contact the club Cantolao in Peru, and they reassured me, yes, there is interest for Aron Sanchez, and he was offered a trial. So while I was doing that, I also went and checked in with my colleague in England, and we tried to figure out what was going on. And then we were able to confirm that Edu did he personally invited Aron Sanchez to a trial.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously Arsenal have seen some links with South American players. The most recent, obviously, being Gabriel Martinelli moving from Ituano, which was quite a low-down club in the Brazilian leagues. It was specifically in Sao Paulo, and now we're seeing this club. Can you give some background as to Aron Sanchez's club and kind of where it is? Because I did a little bit of digging, and it is known for producing some top Peruvian talent.
Correct. So Cantolao is it's not a big club, right, in Lima, but they have always had a pretty good academy and getting really good talent. Obviously, after that, they get poached. They go to bigger clubs. But I think the most notable is I guess Claudio Pizarro, right, who started there and then went on to Alianza Lima, and then went on to Werder Bremen, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, and then back to Werder Bremen and Bayern Munich. There's a couple of other Carlos Zambrano, and now Aron Sanchez. They have Uriel Celi, who was linked with a move abroad as well in the last transfer window to Racing in Argentina. That didn't happen because he chose to stay. But I mean, they have the talent, and now it's just great to be able to see that there's European clubs being interested in the Peruvian talent.
It is. I think it's a market that Arsenal, I suppose, have kind of only ventured around the South American market from players that have already kind of established themselves in Europe. And it's only recently with Martinelli moving over that we're seeing maybe a revival of that interest that saw players previously move over, like Gilberto Silva in the past, etc. But Peruvian talent, I'm trying to think off the top of my head of a Peruvian player that played for Arsenal, and Aron Sanchez might turn out to be the first if it was to happen. So that's a big deal from an Arsenal perspective. Let's talk a little bit then about kind of him as a player, because I was in my research looking into him. CIES, who are kind of a massive statistics-based company, have interestingly rated him amongst kind of the top most projected to succeed players born in 2003, along with the likes of Jude Bellingham, along with Florian Wirtz. He is an exceptionally highly rated youngster. So tell me more about this kid.
Correct. So I follow the Peruvian league, but he wasn't on my radar, to be honest, at first. I know he debuted at 16. He's 18 now, so he's just had his second full season. And I kept hearing more about him this season, about how he was doing so good against the big teams, Alianza Lima, Universitario, Sporting Cristal, and he was scoring some goals. So I said, all right, let me look more into this kid, and man, you could see that he doesn't look like an 18-year-old. First of all, his physique, his attributes you could say he's a 24-year-old probably. Standing at 6'1" right now, I mean that's pretty tall for a Peruvian, I guess you could say. I'm 6 feet tall, and I know a lot of other people are always saying I'm so tall, but 6'1" is good. So he's a center back, right? He debuted at 16. He, like I said, has 2 seasons under his belt now. He brings a lot of physical presence in the back line. He's good in the air. He scored a couple goals. I think it was 10. He's technically gifted. His technique is good. He has good ability to play it out from the back. So that's also something else that we really like, because Peruvian football is always known for their touch of the ball, right? And he's pretty solid at his position.
It's interesting, obviously, the fact that I kind of want to focus around the fact that it's a trial that he's been offered. Now, with trials, it's a tricky situation sometimes, because it's not like a firm offer. It's kind of, look, we'll come and see how you are. Obviously, playing at the level that you're playing in Peru, it's very difficult to kind of get a grasp around how you would translate that to the top level. And Arsenal still have, obviously, their under-23 side. They have signed centre-backs to the under-23 side, like Rekic from Hertha Berlin that came in January. We've obviously just seen William Saliba join and still kind of failed to get in the first team so far. We've had Mavropanos as well, who's probably going to leave this summer. Lots of young centre-backs that are here. We've seen Mark McGuinness leave today to leave for Cardiff on a free. So there are a lot of obstacles for Sanchez if he was to come in. When you look at kind of the way that he has to touch the ball, playing out from the back, do you think that specifically is probably what has interested Arsenal most about his game? Or is there other abilities? Is he good in terms of maybe his leadership as a player? Because his personality in general is something Arsenal are really kind of interested in at the moment.
I mean, from what I've seen, his personality, he still has a little bit to learn, right? He's 18, sure. But you can see that he's very talkative, which is good, right? For an 18-year-old to try to lead. But I think that he still has a little bit to learn there, a little bit to go there. I feel with a good leader on his side, he can definitely keep developing that, and that will be very good for Arsenal if it happens, or another club, and Peru as well. But I think, the biggest thing is probably the way he comes playing out from the back with, alongside his midfield players. The connection there is very good. Like I said, I think that is the biggest thing when it comes to Peruvian players, the way that they touch the ball. And so, we're hoping that this does go through, because it would be great to continue his development, because I think that in Peru, he's doing good. He's doing great. But I think that there's only so much more he can learn, and I don't think that's a lot.
In terms of kind of language situation, which also has been something Arsenal have focused on, is there any inkling of him being able to speak English, or is this something that you're just not aware of at the moment?
No, I'm not aware of. I mean, I know a lot of players recently have learned to speak English. I know that the federation has made it a point to get their players that are playing in the U17, U19, U20s to start learning English, just in
Right.
case, just because. And so he's already playing in the U17 for Peru. Well, now he's obviously going to U20, and so if he's been playing for what 2 years now, I believe that he should have been learning because that's what the federation was doing.
Awesome. Last kind of question, because I feel like we've really gone in depth on this, is around the trial situation. When you say, because from your reaction, basically, it seemed you were quite surprised to hear that Arsenal were linked with him and there was a possible trial. Do you think then there's any kind of risk of, say, another club becoming aware of Sanchez and maybe trying to swoop in, and because it's only a trial right now, that they could even maybe swoop in with an offer and convince him to move elsewhere?
Yeah, I think there's definitely that little bit of doubt, right? Because now that you hear Arsenal is interested, I feel like maybe more clubs will take notice, especially in South America. I think my biggest surprise was that it was a European club, because you don't hear of too many Peruvians at that age going to Europe, right? And so that's what my biggest surprise was, that at 18 he was noticed, and to me, I think that's great. I think that's what's needed in Peru. We have talent that needs to keep growing, and that needs to move out of Peru to keep developing not just their playing but their mentality. Because I think that's the one thing that I've always felt has lacked in Peru, in some Peruvian players, their mentality. Staying in Peru, they stay comfortable, and there's a lot of I guess temptation to go out and drink and party with friends.
Yeah.
Whereas,
of course,
whereas the youngsters the Peruvian youngsters that have gone on to Europe, such as Claudio Pizarro, who went on 19, Paulo Guerrero, Renato Tapia, Carlos Zambrano, they've all gone on and had a pretty decent career in Europe.
What we kind of finish off our shows by asking experts from specific areas of the world is, beyond just Aron Sanchez, is there anyone coming through the ranks that us as Arsenal fans should really be keeping an eye on?
Absolutely. Just to name, I guess, three, there's another center back who's 22 years old who plays for the current champions, Sporting Cristal. There's this kid, Gianfranco Chavez, who is also, I think he's a step above Aron Sanchez, because obviously, like I said, he's 22, and he's actually more of a leader, I guess, and he's been playing at top level now for 3 to 4 years and with the champions. Then there's Martin Tavara, who is also a midfielder. He's right now with Peru in Copa America. He's 22 as well, and I think he plays a lot like Yoshimar Yotun, who I think is good at controlling the ball, controlling the midfield, controlling the tempo. So those are two that I'm very interested in seeing what's going to happen with them. As well as Jairo Concha, who plays for Alianza Lima. He's another midfielder who's also 21, 22. So there's talent, and like I said, I just think that they need a chance to go abroad and keep growing.
I think it's a really important perspective to look at nations that necessarily haven't got the coverage that a lot of the bigger, especially in South America, when you think of Argentina and Brazil and Uruguay, and you see some of those nations like Peru and lesser so maybe Chile and Ecuador and these other nations that necessarily aren't getting as much of a push. But it's great to see that there's some real Peruvian talent coming through. Maybe they can rival the likes of Claudio Pizarro and Farfan one day. That's the one that sticks in my mind, of course, is watching Farfan at Schalke and seeing him kind of flourish. But yeah,
that's one I missed, actually. Yes, Jefferson Farfan had a great career, and he went abroad early as well. The other thing about Peru, I think, that would benefit Arsenal or any European club in general, is the fact that our players are really cheap right now. Because I feel like the market for us, we don't have that reputation to go for 20 million, at all, right? Right now,
the club's been hit by COVID a lot. This kind of situation.
No, I think it's just in general for years. For years. I don't think any Peruvian club has sold a player for more than 1.5 or 2 million, right? So that's why I'm saying it's very low. And I think in this case with Aron Sanchez, the risk is worth it.
I think it's going to be an interesting one to kind of follow and see if that trial happens. The fact that Edu, as you say, has called him out personally, and that will definitely be an incentive for the kid. So really one to keep an eye on. I'm sure Arsenal fans to keep an eye on your Twitter profile and see if anything comes out from that. But by the way, tell people where they can find you on the socials.
Absolutely. So my Instagram and Twitter is D Montalvan, and you can follow me there for, I just try to cover all the Peruvians abroad, and right now doing Copa America, and then after that, hopefully more Euros and more Gold Cup once it comes around.
Awesome. Well, best of luck for the rest of the Copa America with whatever happens. And a massive thank you for coming on the show.
No problem, Tom. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure, and good luck to you on the show. And I'm sure we'll be in touch about what happens next.
100%. I look forward to it. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. If you have enjoyed the show, please make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. This isn't your last show of the day. We will be doing a tactical breakdown of Andre Silva from Frankfurt, who has been linked to the Gunners also today. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But it's been a pleasure to speak to you guys as always. And as always, up the Arsenal.